Good morning. Questionable internet, we'll see. Little dog nerd cult swag in the background if you need some in your life. We have a link for that on our website. Isn't this fun? I have to figure out where it's going to actually live because out here it will just get dirty. Maybe we'll auction it or something. It just arrived. So we've had a lot of requests for explaining how to teach place to the baby dogs. Hey, Elias, what's up? Hey, Elias, speaking of, did Kai ask you if you could come out and help us live stream a temperament test? I know you interacted with these guys maybe at the barbecue, but we need a neutral stranger. In fact, if Elias can't do it, that's open to the public invitation. If someone can come out here tomorrow and be our stranger to handle these pups for a temperament test demonstration, we need you. We need you. Good morning, Susie. So guys, we've had a lot of requests for puppy shaping, place shaping. There's Trudy. Trudy, I was hoping you would make it in here. And I'm going to just take advantage of, good morning, Chloe. Take advantage of Des is here for her shadow week. So she's soaking up all the crazy here at Acalia Terra, watching our program process, learning about what all is involved in running the dog training company, the nonprofit, the weird blend between the pair of them, and all of our cast and crew and characters here. And among them is Nux, one of the adoptable pups that came into us about a week and a half ago. And he is very, very baby, but the deal is that you can start shaping everything you want your adult dog to do immediately upon bringing your 8-week-old, 9-week-old, 10-week-old puppy home. So we're using his food. You can see her reinforcing any of the steps and stages and pieces of the puzzle that we're looking for to build to a long-term downstay and hold. You can see that he understands targeting. He is wearing a clip-around collar. All it is just a little collar. It's exactly like this. See if I can do a demonstration with one hand. It's exactly like this. The two rings, when they're slid together, allow you to clip to the floating ring, and then it basically creates a slip lead. See that? So if this is clipped, the dog's head would be where my thumb is. Your leash would clip to this one. And when you activate it, you cinch the collar or release it, it just loosens up. It's literally just the collar end of a slip lead because he's so bitty. That was the size that we had available for a collar, literally, okay? If we had a baby tiny freaking cat collar, we'd just put that on him and we would clip the light long leash to the collar he's wearing. It does not matter. There is no specific need for a particular collar in this instance. If I were working a puppy of a large breed, like your Labrador, I would already have a 2.25 prong collar on your Labrador. If that dog is super intense and boisterous and high energy and distracted, otherwise her flat collar is absolutely fine as well. Okay? Now what she's doing here is she is naming the command place when he lands on it. She's paying him his breakfast for attention, for impulse control, for following, for offering the behavior. She can now also start trying to shape the down command by putting the food in a downward position between his legs and waiting for him to problem solve how to get that food from her. Let's see if we can get him to figure that out. Boom. That is the process. Okay, now she will pay him again for holding the down. Wee-hoo! Then she'd pay him again. Then she could even move her body and shift just ever so slightly, pay him again. You got to be real subtle on those motions. Got to get him into a down. He only gets paid for down now. Good. You guys see how that works? Then she can shift her legs again, pay, pay, pay. You got to be subtle on those movements with an excitable youngster so that there's clarity for them, right? Oh, you moved and I don't get up. I don't follow you. And she can just work her way around the clock, which means around the dog, steadily seeing what can he handle, what creates clarity for him that no matter which direction I go, there's two sides of the brain here, guys. When you go to one side of your dog, they're processing you essentially with one side of their brain versus the other. You need to make sure you work around the clock. okay? You got to work your dog to function and understand and process the information coming at them all the way around using both sides of their brain, including what is it like when someone is behind me. So if I were her, I'd probably go back to my left, and I would just build a positive result here and not make it too hard on this first step. And I'd go ahead and call him over and move him again. And slowly she's going to up the ante here on what she asks of him. Look at him target, so he understands I get paid for going onto the spot. I get paid for going into the down. I get paid for holding my stay. Good. And then she can start to experiment with stepping backwards and opening space. So we had a huge conversation about, now I'd step back. Yes, exactly does. Good. Pay him for that. So guys, this is really important before I finish that other thought. If she steps back and he pops up and she pays him, she is paying him for breaking command. She's not holding him accountable to holding the stay. Yeah, so now we will let the little pea brain figure it out. He has to hold. Good. In spite of the movement of her body, he has to hold. It's very important that you return the dog. That's essentially a correction without having to be aversive. You're just withholding the reinforcement. So if she steps back and he pops up, he has to down again and hold. And he's almost at that stage, you guys, where if she just stood there and she walked in and out, he might down himself. The food can be too exciting. It can create more trouble for these guys. What is really important about the food is that it is making this a game. It is making it fun for him. It is motivating. Good. Pressure on. That pushes the dog. He's got to think. Puppy brain has him itching, processing. Good. This is patience, guys, and it takes a lot of patience to be fair and get your dog to work for themselves and process and figure things out. It's a really important piece of the puzzle. There, boom, pay that. You guys see how that works? So he just kind of accidentally offers the thing we want, but you pay it, you'll get more of it. He's very smart. He'll figure it out. Patience. Yeah, Summer, I'm glad you enjoy it. It is really fun to work pups. You have to work fast and you've got to be patient, but they learn so quickly. Nice. There it is. She'll pay that. Good. And then she's taking the pressure off, making it fun for him so he doesn't get too frustrated by releasing him and moving on. You can also use that type of move where you toss the treat to release the dog, essentially paying him over there. Break is the command she's shaping by doing that, the release command that we use. Now see if he'll down on his own. Think. A lot of puppies get itchy when they're restless and unsure and trying to problem solve. And he's not used to being dressed. He's not used to having a collar on. This is the cutest. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen an owner overly communicate with the dog with massive energy in a situation just like this. Talking, trying to get involved and stopping the dog from figuring this out on their own. Nice. Look at that. Don't add all that crazy nonsense to your poor puppy who's trying to think and problem solve and needs to learn to do that into their adulthood. You are not helping them. You're hurting them. It's too stimulating. It's distracting. It's just too much. They don't do that to each other. We can't expect that is helpful for them to learn to calm when we are adding energy. There is a time and a place for that energy.
One trick to get the down is if he's looking up at you like that, make eye contact with him and then look down. Like look down to where he should be looking down.
Good.
I've had a lot of success with that because they're so visual and
Nice.
body language. So
Yep.
he's like, what do I do to get that thing? If you just like glance down at the cot,
Pay him again.
a lot of times the dog's like, oh, okay, I'll do that.
Good boy. Now see if you can step back, and start reinforcing some duration. Pay. Beautiful. And this is the process, guys. Just 9 weeks old, you start building the ability to step away and, reinforce the dog stays without you. They don't follow you everywhere. The next step of this is just a back tie, really, right? You return the dog when he breaks and he learns over repetition. Nope, your job is to stay put. And she's going to try that down. Look down. That's good advice from Kai. Good. Don't you think that he should go home with Des? Don't you think so, everybody? Raise your hand if you're guilty of overly communicating with your dog when you're trying to get them to do something. Put your hands up, everybody. It's very easy to overdo it. Very easy. Subtlety is amazing. You might even add a little pressure forward. Lean, just the squishiest bit. Pressure was a huge conversation we had yesterday. How to use your body as your first and best tool. Boom. Gotta wait them out, guys. Yeah, I'm guilty of that too, everybody. Thanks for being in ownership there. It's really fun when you stop holding your dog in kindergarten and you trust them to be smarter and more capable. It's really fun. They're crazy smart, you guys, with a few exceptions. We've seen a few exceptions over the years, but they're really smart. They learn so fast. So let's say you walk away to go get your coffee and he breaks. This is why the leash is on. He's going to come after her because he's still learning. Oh, what a good boy. Oh, pay that. Go ahead. So when he finally does it, guys, she's just going to mark it with a no, and she's going to return him. And she can do it either with him following or with the leash. Sometimes you don't even need the leash. Now, no payment. You're going to walk away again. He doesn't get paid till he's successful. Good. See how he hears the marker and he stops? Summer, I'm going to give you everything I've got. We are a little bit challenged with time and how small our team is, but I know this is helpful, so we're definitely trying to get you guys as much content as we can while we have these little rascals. Kai has the other one, Toast. She's kind of fostering her, getting attached to her. So you might have access to more content than we know about just yet. We'll see. I'm really glad that's helpful. Thank you for the feedback, guys. Good. Yep, so if she was to walk away and go get something down the hall or get her coffee, the puppy's going to come and investigate. Where did she go? I want to be with her. So she marks it. No, she returns him. It's not a big deal, guys. It's not a big deal, okay? At what point do you make it easier if the puppy continues to fail? Well, if they're continuing to fail, you make it easier. You go slower. You make the steps and the goals smaller. The reality is, if you're, doing this exact process I'm showing you, but with kids running around, you remove the kids, right? If you're doing this exact process and your other dogs are out and they're too distracting, put the dogs away. Be fair. Don't hold the bar too low. Be fair to the dog and hold the bar at a reasonable place of what they're capable of learning with the right amount of distraction and the right length of duration. Classic 3Ds of dog training, right? Distance, duration, distraction. They apply throughout the entire development of your dog and their training journey. What do I do if the puppy carries mouths, holds the lead? It's not a big deal right now. If your puppy is, a couple weeks down the line on this and they're putting their mouth on that, you need to correct it. And we can show you that with Coda. we can show you that with Coda Dog. So hear me as my witnesses, ladies. We got to stream some of that, okay, later. We'll show you the difference between Basically, the 3 dogs in training right now. This little nugget, Coda, who's a Samoyed, 6 months old Samoyed, and Dag, who's probably about 2 years old, stray terrier mix. She's the softest, calmest, sweetest, just nicest dog. And then you have Coda, who's on the opposite end of the spectrum of pushy, dominant, just busy. He's got a lot more arousal and noise in his head by comparison. He's very full of negotiations and games. And then you have this one who's just really like a clean slate, but absolutely has his own personality and temperament that's very clearly in there and perpetuates a risk for separation anxiety. He really loves to do this. You see, he very much wants to be with her. Very really attached to being with people and being in the social life of the pack as much as possible. Good. She kind of cued him with her foot there. That was nice. So, like I said, you guys, you keep the leash on so you're not, you don't lose your leverage to guide your dog where you need them to go and to scoop them up and walk them back if they break and follow you in the wrong direction. And then you can take that very same lead and you can back tie it. All around our place here, you'll see we have these fixtures. I guess I gotta move this. These are back ties, okay? This is how we clip our dogs on a back tie, different places around the room. I gotta watch the time, I guess, too, because I got a 10 o'clock appointment. These are back ties, so the leashes just can get hung on here. Now, you don't have to have this fugly thing in your living room like we do. You could literally just have the eye hook in your wall and, attach a leash as you need to. Have a clip on your other end of your leash and plug it in there. And it's really just a matter of function. We love them. They're super convenient and handy. And our lifestyle is to have dogs all over the place, parked at different times. And so for safety reasons, it's very convenient to have the big carabiners there. Needless to say, you would take that leash, you would just hook him up. And then when he breaks, when she walks away, maybe we can mock it if you give me the end of the leash. Thank you. So I'm going to represent the eye hook. All right, guys? Dog is hooked in, okay? She's going to walk away. He wants to go with her. He's going to hit the end. He's going to get frustrated. She's going to walk back and give him some information. No, you belong on the cot. And then she's going to walk away again. And he'll break again, and he'll hit the end of the line, and he'll get frustrated, and she'll give him some information, and she'll walk away again. And he'll break again, eventually. And he's confused and processing and, but I want to be with you. And we've been doing all these repetitions where I follow you. I'm confused. He breaks, he hits the end of the line, she returns him, she walks away again. He's figuring out that there's no value to breaking the command. Do you get it? He's figuring out that where he's supposed to be is on the place cot. This is like sleep training your toddler. Go to your own bed. Go to your own bed. Breaking the place command and walking off the cot, hitting the end of the line is a correction. It automatically tells him wrong. Okay? It automatically gives him the pressure and direction. Yeah, he gets that affection. Good job. So you might have a puppy go into any manner of tantrumy behaviors, getting frustrated. He might bark. He might whine. He might do, he might chew, right? You might be in the kitchen. There's my kitchen. And then he's, I can't believe this egregious treatment I'm receiving. She will correct that, right? That's when you can get your bonker out or a compressed air can or, your various other means of interrupting and correcting and giving the dog an aversive or feedback that you disagree with that choice. It's essentially the next level of the block of the leash and returning the dog to place. It's no, I disagree with that choice you made. You've got to have some impulse control here and stay put. What a good boy. Very nice. And they get it eventually, guys. It might be sloppy in the beginning, but they get it eventually. If you're firm enough in your feedback and you're firm enough and clear and consistent enough that you disagree with the breaking of the command, that you are absolutely standing 100% for calmness and the dog being okay in his own skin, he's going to get it. He's going to give up because there's no reinforcement. There's no point to fighting it. and you're going to be building, see right here how he's putting his mouth on the cot? That would be a shh, hey, interrupt it. Could be anything from the voice correction to she might have to get a bunker or an air can or whatever, right? She might have to come over and physically give him a little poke. He's just a baby. He's got to figure this out. He's got to go through all that stuff. Now, could we give him something to chew on here if we wanted him to be there for a while? Sure. Who cares? The deal is that you don't want to turn this into Disneyland. No. You don't want to turn this into a place where he expects to be busy. The same is true of the crate. If you put a bunch of treats and toys and shoes and things in there, the crate becomes some place that the dog is also overstimulated instead of learning to be calm and just chill out. It's very important that you build the clarity that this is not a place to be naughty and busy.
Nope.
And he's being pretty persistent about that. He's going to need a firmer consequence. No. I'm giving him a decent amount of pressure through that leash. No. She has a bunker ready. Gonna learn about that. So you guys get it? Trudy, I think you asked how long for how many sessions. We would probably bring a pup like this out about, lifestyle. Just morning, noon, night, 3-4 times even without having to put too much thought into it. He's about done. The only thing that we would continue to do would be a little bit of duration. I'm representing the back tie, a little bit of duration. So basically that bonker just is an interrupter and a punisher of the choice. Now he's having to rethink his life a little bit and what is he going to do on place. Eventually this dog goes to sleep. That's what happens. And it happens this early. Did the same thing with Laszlo, did the same thing with Finn. We do the same thing with any of the puppies in training. They just need repetition, reinforce it with food, make it fun, build their ethic, their work ethic, and then work your way through incrementally upping the challenge, distance, distraction, duration, okay? If your puppy is, 4, 5, 6 months, they should be staying on place, period. If they're not, you haven't been firm enough. You're not correcting enough when they break the command. That's where things like, the prong collar instead of the flat collar become valuable because you can give clearer boundaries. You can reinforce that better. And it's why you see us choose the remote collar for pretty much every adult dog that comes through here. Because there's so much more versatility to it, and you get rid of the leash. Who doesn't want to get rid of the leash? Des has been wanting to get rid of the long line all week. How do I juggle this damn thing? It is so nice to get the dog on remote collar. And now when she leaves and she goes far and he starts to think a thought of following, she can boop, tap the e-collar. And she can say, nope, that's not the thought that you should be thinking. And it gives the dog pressure and information and clarity to stay on place. So we'll show you Coda later, and you'll be able to see the difference of how that plays out, I think, compared to this one. Martingale is not better. It's not better than a prong at all. There's no contact and pressure correction. It's just cinching and releasing with no discomfort, essentially, is literally the difference. There's no discomfort to it. It's just direction. Gives you direction the same as any flat collar does. The reason prongs are fantastic is because they mimic the correction of another dog. There's teeth, right? The prong collar is like teeth. So when you activate it and release it, it's like a bite on the dog's neck where dogs naturally correct each other. The other thing that's really important about it is it doesn't just cinch and put pressure on parts of the body that are sensitive that could be actually harmed, like the trachea, because there's excessive amounts of it that doesn't get released. With a prong collar, it is bite and release. The collar's complete design intention is interrupt, correct, and release that pressure so you don't have strain on the trachea. It's actually safer in most cases. When you've got a strong dog that's, pulling, disconnected, moving through pressure from a flat collar, it's just incredible how much softer you can be with a tool like that, even with pups. Now, he's very small. He doesn't need it. We can do all of this from a shaping, reinforcing standpoint for the most part because we're in here early building an adult dog we want to see as a rock star at 3, 4, 5, 6 years of age, right? That's different when you get a coda who already has learned that he's strong, that pushing and biting and mouthing works, and we need different tools. We need different volume. We need different value, okay? So I got to go to an appointment. I'm going to wrap this here, and we'll try to come back, and we will share with you the contrasting puppy later on. Right on, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Say goodbye to Nux, who may or may not be adoptable. Are you just a tourist? You did a good job, little man. Did a good job.